some live reaction from the Browns locker room when it opens in about 20 minutes. But just so you guys know, Deshaun Watson not scheduled to speak. That is according to Mary Kay Cabot, so we will not be hearing from Deshaun Watson. We're going to get into plenty of quarterback talk in the next hour, but first, I need to remind the good people out there that if you are looking to get into any gambling action this season, you better be doing it with FanDuel. It is, without a question, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose, by placing a single $5 bet. So if you've been thinking about getting in on the action, there's no better time to join FanDuel than right now. The app is easy to use with a wide range of options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to kick off the NFL action. FanDuel, an official partner of UCSS, an official partner of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And you can become a winner just like Brandon Nash was. He had a 4-part same-game parlay on Monday Night Football that turned $15 into $230.
All right.
He had an under on the rushing total for Alexander Madison, over on George Kittle receiving yards, over on Kirk Cousins touchdowns, and over on George Kittle receptions. That's $15 into $228.61. You could be next just like Brendan if you use FanDuel.com/UCSS. Jay, let's talk quarterbacks, and the Browns decided to bring in a potential new quarterback at number 2 behind Deshaun Watson, assuming he can play in the near future.
Yeah, this is, guys, this has become the issue of the season. Is what they've done at quarterback. And we'll set the stage for you. After they broke training camp, they were ready for the season, they decided that at the most important position, perhaps in all of sports, they were good with going with a backup that had taken 0 snaps in the NFL in terms of regular season games. You're rolling the dice when you do that. You're unprepared. There's no insurance policy. There's no safety net. You hope you don't need to go to number 2, but oftentimes teams do. Even if it's just for a couple of snap series in a game, that position, I think, has been undervalued the last decade in the NFL, and I understand why. But they need to scratch that insurance policy, and they don't have it. And we've seen what they've gotten out of quarterback in the 2 games that Deshaun Watson was unable to suit up. According to everybody that I know that follows the team closely, there are no plans to bring in a backup. Even now, as this Deshaun Watson thing looks like it's going to linger for not another game or 2. It could be multiple weeks before he comes back. Bull, I want to start with you. And I know that we've talked about why the position of backup quarterback hasn't been valued, and I get that. But have they completely fumbled this entire situation at quarterback?
100%. 100%. It's organizationally, it's been a total screw up. Number one, first of all, when they traded Josh Dobbs, none of us had a problem with it because we were like, well, Josh Dobbs, at least I was, Josh Dobbs not that good. They must really buy into DTR.
And I think they did.
But then they gave him one chance. He wasn't prepared. Certainly not all his fault. And then they said, no, that's not good enough, so we're going to go to P.J. Walker. P.J. Walker is not an NFL quarterback, in my opinion. He shouldn't even be a backup. He's a third-string quarterback at best, in my opinion. So the Watson injury, there's been no clear message. We've gotten 7 different messages about what's going on with him. Even now, we're not exactly sure what's going on. Clearly, he was not ready to play last Sunday. Clearly. We all know that. We all saw it. So why they have waited all this time when they knew that Browns had to know from the moment he had this injury, which is almost 5 weeks ago at this point?
Coming up on.
They had to know that at best, this could be a question mark the rest of the season. At best, case scenario. It's a shoulder injury. It's his throwing shoulder. You knew there was going to be an issue. Why would you not go out and address the position? In the end, we can talk about salary cap all we want. But in the end, if they had a quarterback that they got to pay $5 million, $10 million, whatever it may be, is that really good? Eventually, yes, this is all going to come to a head. But is another $5 to even $10 million going to make that big a difference in the long run? I don't see how it can. Listen, I have always been, for years, as long as you guys have known me, you can't win without a great quarterback. You can't win. And I'm still not sure you can. But this year, after it started trending back towards defense a little last year, It's trending even more that way this year. Now, I don't know if it's going to last. Maybe the second half of the season will get back to what it was second half of the season last year. The offense picked up. Maybe that'll happen again this year. And the Browns' defense hasn't been perfect. They didn't play that well against Baltimore. They did not play that well against Indianapolis. But overall, the Browns' defense has been excellent. And it's starting to make me think maybe it's possible that you can once again win with average quarterback play. Maybe, if your defense is great. But, Jay, here's one thing I know, and that will never change. You can't win with garbage quarterback play. You can't win with the worst quarterback play in the league. You can win some games, but you can't win when it matters against good teams consistently with the worst quarterback play in the league. It is absolutely inexcusable for the Browns not to address this position in some manner. And I get it. The options are not amazing, whether it's Josh Dobbs or Andy Dalton or Jacoby Brissett or Ryan Tannehill or Carson Wentz. None of those guys are going to get us very excited, but you know what they all have in common? They're all better than P.J. Walker.
You hit it exactly.
Let's go.
Exactly. Not just on the nail. You hit it in the middle of the head of the nail. Can you disagree with anything Bull just said?
No. Actually, he did such a good job that I can't even rebuttal it with real words. I'm just going to go to one of my favorite books, and there's a quote in this novel, and it talks about leadership. It says the difference between a good administrator and a bad one is about 5 heartbeats. Good administrators make immediate choices that usually can be made to work. A bad administrator, on the other hand, hesitates, diddles around, asks for committees for research and reports. Eventually, he acts in ways which create serious problems. A bad administrator is more concerned with reports than with decisions. He wants the hard record, which he can display as an excuse for his errors.
That is unbelievable. What book is that from?
That is from Dune.
Leadership. What?
From Dune?
Yeah.
No kidding.
God Emperor of Dune. It's a great novel. Shout out to Frank Herbert. One of my favorite. That was Duke Leto Atreides II. Go watch that if you haven't. Go watch it. Go check out the novel. But he hits it right on the head right here.
Gee, that's exactly what's going on with this front office. Exactly. They're too concerned about covering their tracks.
That's it.
And you're right think about the leaders that you've been under, whether it's in work or sports. You would rather go to war with a guy who makes an impulse decision and is willing to live with it, or what was key about that quote, find a way to make it work, than a guy who twiddles his thumbs until it's too late and the cavalry is upon you. What are you going to do at that point?
Well, there's nothing you could do about it. And right now, you've had the quote was I was just looking at it, and it just shows, if you apply it to this context, they had weeks. He got
almost 5 weeks.
He got hurt, and then they had games. They had
a bye.
They had a bye. Then they snuck a game that they weren't supposed to win against the 49ers, and they won it. If they would have had a decision and stopped telling me day to day, they could have also set him down from the time he got hurt all the way until maybe the Ravens game.
Without throwing a football.
At all.
And he would have, you could say, keep him for the Ravens game. He's got almost 8 weeks.
Yeah,
where
been 2 months.
Between throwing a football, that's how this injury heals. From all the experts, everything that we've heard, it doesn't heal if you're working overhead, lifting anything, or throwing anything.
How many times have you went and got an MRI when nothing hurt, Jay?
Never. Why would you?
Why would you? When people say he's cleared to play, he's cleared. That's
troubling to me. They
gets
cleared
an
this
MRI.
man to play 4 weeks ago.
Well,
he
Jay,
wasn't ready Sunday.
No.
And Jay, not even that, but you can take tagboard full. This is what Andrew Berry said 3 weeks ago today. Like today, except 3 weeks ago. We don't view it as a long-term injury. I think Kevin mentioned it earlier in the week. There's nothing structural. We're optimistic it'll heal in the short term, and he'll be ready to go.
Yeah,
So what is happening here? So either people have been lying, or there's been a misdiagnosis. It's crazy.
You asked the pertinent question. What's happening?
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with the fan yesterday, and this is kind of I just sort of meandered to this conclusion. But here's my guess is what's going on. Barry knows he's in a sling. Stefanski knows he's in a sling.
Mm-hmm.
I think after they made the move to keep DTR as the number 2, if they didn't know it was a bad move at first, they knew it after he started against Baltimore.
Yep.
They saw it with their eyes just as we did. Oh, God, this kid's not ready. So now they realize we've made a grave miscalculation. Their butts are in the hot seats. So I think what they're doing is all of the separate all the verbiage that's come from them and all of the verbiage that's come from Watson. You've got a team saying on multiple occasions he was cleared to play. He will play in 10 days from now. Structurally, there's nothing wrong. There is no pain.
Medically cleared.
Medically cleared.
Yeah.
Asked Sunday after the game, is he going to be your starter in Seattle? Now, he was saying as long as he's healthy, but yeah, he's my guy. Everything they have said has basically been like someone opening the door for someone to say, come on in. It's all been laying the groundwork for the fan base and the media.
Yep.
He's good to go.
Yep.
Now, you got Deshaun, who, by the way, is the only person qualified to say when he's ready to play.
Correct.
And you know what that is? When he has complete and full confidence of where he's throwing the ball and he's doing it pain-free. He is not to that point. We saw that Sunday. So I think you've got the player saying, I'm not in any hot seat. Nobody's coming after me.
Right.
My money's guaranteed. I'm not playing for a contract. Baker didn't have that luxury. Baker had to play. So you've got a player who's saying, no, when I'm ready and I'm good, I'll know it and I'll tell you and I'll play. You've got a coach and a general manager who probably believe that they're going to be in the unemployment line if they go with what they have now at quarterback for the rest of the season, because that's not going to be a playoff.
But they got to know that if he plays, he's not going to play well. We've already seen this movie before.
I know, but I think
it's worse because it's his throwing shoulder. He clearly couldn't play. Like, that was crazy. And Watson's going to want to play. Even this nonsense, and we'll get into the idiotic comments by Brady Quinn later, but like this nonsense about, well, he doesn't want to play. He was telling people that whole first week he was going to play because he wanted to play.
That is nonsense.
He wasn't ready to play this
Players
week, clearly,
want to play.
and he wanted to play. If he didn't want to play, why would he have been out there?
I agree with you 100%.
So that's ridiculous.
I'm sure he's got veto power here.
Of course.
If he wanted to say ahead of Sunday's game against the Colts, I'm not going to play, he could have.
Absolutely, because that's what happened against San Francisco.
I'd like to add a little addendum to that quote. Here's another difference between good leaders and bad leaders. Good leaders recognize when they have made a bad decision and immediately take action to undo it.
Yep.
Bad leaders double down on stupid. They double down on it. No, we're going to be good. You keep convincing yourself, no, Anthony Schwartz is a baller.
Right.
No, David Bell is a baller.
I think that Kevin Stefanski showed good leadership in realizing it was a mistake to play Deshaun Watson, and he pulled him out and said, you're out.
Well, yeah.
Now, Andrew Berry's got to show good leadership, and the front office, Dee Podesta, whoever the hell you want to blame, Jimmy Haslam, and they've got to go address the position.
I can't believe they haven't yet.
It's crazy.
I can't believe it.
So when you trot Deshaun Watson out there, I agree wholeheartedly with what you're saying. You got two people that are looking out for their jobs, and they're saying, okay, at least we can string this along. The more they string it along, the public sentiment seems to change. Because if you keep saying day-to-day, we'll figure it out, I had to take him out and protect him. What happens is the fan base starts to look at you and say, okay, well, they keep telling us you're ready to play, but you're just not playing. So now the onus goes on you to figure out why you can't play, or can you play. And
if you can't, go find someone that can.
And so right now, they got him on the bench. They got him sitting here. And every week that go by, what starts to happen is they're paving the groundwork for this. Well, look at the you're going to start. You see, these coaches be leaking in the media.
Lost Chubb.
We lost Chubb.
Watson.
We lost Conklin. Look at the adversity we've been through. We didn't even get our franchise quarterback this year. He played one game. We thought we had him up and running.
The Bull's point that he always loves to make no excuses.
I don't want to hear it.
And teams deal with that. You love analogies. This hit me yesterday. I'm going to give you an analogy of the Browns and their season. The football team is a high-powered race car. They've got a top-flight engine, the best engine money can buy. Let's call that the defense. They've got a couple of really nice, shiny tires in guys like Myles Garrett and Amari Cooper, guys that we would mostly say are either the best at their position or certainly amongst the best at their position. They've got all these pieces, but before the season started, they went to the shop and they said, now, do we have all of the backup parts we're going to need? Because during a race, you don't know what you're going to throw. You might throw a brake drum. You might throw, a chassis, whatever you're going to do. So a good team owner says, so the steering column is my quarterback. Are we good? And I think we're good with that, but if we're not, let's order a backup steering column. So if on lap 27 we crack the steering column, we can bring them into the pits, put a new one in, get it back out on the track, and still have a chance. That's what a good team owner in NASCAR would do. They didn't do that. They sent their backup steering column away, and they had an unproven one that's never been tested sitting in the box. It was new, but I don't know. It hasn't been tested. No research has been done on it. We don't know. Let's go with this. And the steering column won't break. Then about a quarter of the way through the race, the driver comes in and he says, something's wrong, man. This car's shimmying. My steering column's got a crack. And the engineer looks under the hood. He's like, oh, my God, there's a crack in there. What are we going to do? You can't sit there and think about it. Well, get the car back out on the track. Well, that's the worst thing that can happen.
Yep.
Because if that steering column cracks, that
jeopardy.
car goes into the wall, and that beautiful engine that was the highest paid, best performing engine all year is gone. And those shiny tires, Myles Garrett and Amari Cooper, they're meaningless. Your car has crashed into the wall.
Yep.
The quarterback in this scenario is the steering column. You know it's cracked. You didn't have a backup. Get one now.
And here's the good thing,
to try
guys.
to save the race.
Here's the good thing, and it's a good analogy. It's dead on. And here's the great part. It's not too late. Because they have found ways to win these games,
right.
They're right there.
They're still in it.
But it's fool's gold, and we all know it.
It's
not sustainable.
It's not.
So
the
get
way
the steering
they've won,
column replaced.
especially the way they won against Indy, is not sustainable. Right now, the only way they can win with any consistency is by playing lights-out defense. If they play mediocre defense even, they're going to lose most of their games with the quarterback play.
I would agree with that.
And let's be clear. There's a lot of, and I like to tell people, you know, everybody thinks that their fan base is the most intelligent and most informed. But I'm going to be honest with you. Fans fall in love with the record. I've found over the years, just by even just talking about the team, that 4-2 record to most fans is more important than anything else that's going wrong inside the organization.
As I say, it hides the warts.
It hides it.
Right.
That's just why a lot of people, they go to a doctor. The doctor tells them, man, I'm sorry, Joe, but right now you got stage 3 or stage 4 cancer. And they're like, wait, hold on. I feel fine, though. I feel great. They're like, well, no, let me just show you.
Fool's gold. It's coming.
It is coming. You got 6 months to, and that's why people have a hard time coming to grips with it, because there's no symptoms. There's no, hey, at least when I get sick, I could go and I got a fever and a temperature, and I can, take medicine. Some illnesses hit you like this and you go on the next week.
But our fan base is not used to winning.
They're not.
Any taste of winning
is
exciting, right?
It's intoxicating.
And
I love that
get
we're
it.
4-2.
And it's great that they're 4-2. If they were 2-4, they'd have the same problems. But we'd be like, well, they're screwed.
And let's face it, we're a questionable penalty and a missed field goal away from being 2-4.
And so exactly, we kind of like this. So the doctor tells you, you know what, we did catch it early enough, right?
Yeah.
But
since you don't have any symptoms, he tries to give you medicine. He says, take this medicine, you'll get better, and we caught it in time. You say to him, oh, well, listen, man, I don't feel any symptoms. I'm not taking the medicine because you got that 4-2.
Right.
See, they don't want to take that medicine and say, hey, let's go ahead and get this quarterback so we can heal this up right now.
Right.
If you wait, you're going to lose the next 2 games. You get in another situation where you don't have the leeway to save your season.
You know what happens when you sweep problems under the rug? You don't see them in the short term, but it's only going to be a matter of time before you trip over whatever that is.
Eventually it becomes mold.
Yes. Black mold.
And it can be deadly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think all of this, here's what's stunning to me.
Yeah.
All of this is conventional wisdom. None of it is hyperbole. It's all fact-based. It's all common sense. How is it that this organization didn't get a real backup quarterback in here on the Monday following the injury?
I have no idea.
It's inexplicable.
It's already too late for this week. Like, even if you brought in Jacoby Brissett now, he probably couldn't play.
No.
I mean, I guess he could in theory,
and look,
but
I mean, according to Adam Schefter, when I was talking to him about it, he's like, that's not in the plans right now. Now, he's getting that from somewhere.
maybe the plans change. I hope so.
Well, he said
yeah.
that may change as the season plays out. We'll see. And that's entirely possible. But why wait until week 7 or 8?
I wish I could ask Andrew Berry that question. Like, right now,
It's
what are you
mind-boggling.
thinking?
I think your quote is so powerful, and here's why. I think they're afraid of the consequences of a bad decision. And that's a bad leader.
But Andrew Berry's always been aggressive. He's been a pretty aggressive GM in terms of
He's
trades.
been very aggressive.
I think the way they handled the kicker thing, I applaud them a million times over. Not just because the way it worked out, because our eyes told us what they had wasn't good enough. We have to see something else.
Right.
And now look, not only did they appropriately make that decision, which was tough, he was a high draft pick for a kicker, they appropriately and on the right time frame made that decision. He didn't stay at the party too long. He didn't cost us a regular season game. They made a decision, you're out. They did their due diligence on those that were available, came up kind of with a sleeper pick, and this guy has literally been the best kicker in the NFL this year. And so kudos to you. Andrew Berry, front office, you assessed a problem and you presented a workable solution. Now look, you're watching the same thing unfold in real time. We're seeing it. All the fans are seeing it. The metrics, if you want to lean heavily on analytics, tell you that this team's quarterback play is ranked 32nd.
And it's not even
Make a move.
It's not even like P.J. Walker has any kind of track record of playing excellent football. He has no track record. His only track record is outside of one game is playing poorly.
And here's how you know they they need a quarterback. He has not been added to the 53-man roster permanently.
I think he finally did today.
They finally added him?
I don't know if I don't know that they made. It's been reported. It hasn't been. I don't know that it's official yet. But yeah,
they can't do that one more. They can't do that anymore.
They could do it one more. They could have done it one more time.
This
is the
You're
third.
allowed to do it 3 times, and then you'd have to add them after.
Right. So this would be the last time that they could actually put him on the practice squad and bring him back up.
Yes.
So you got to make a decision now.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
right now he's your
But
option.
that's the point. Yeah.
But
you weren't even worried about losing him.
No, you weren't.
You weren't.
At this point, I'm stunned that they haven't reached the conclusion that all of us have and that most fans have, is that this ain't it.
No.
We've got to move on something. And look, I understand the argument that, well, trading for a guy is next to impossible. I get that. There are the options available that we talked about, and you hit it right on the head to start the show. Nick Foles is not a great quarterback, or he'd be on a roster.
Right.
And, the same thing can be said for Carson Wentz.
Right.
But they're better than what we have.
Right. I'd take those guys. I don't love either of those guys.
I would too right
I'd take
now.
them. I'd rather get Brissett or Dalton because they've been with teams. They've been playing.
Sure. Yeah.
They both play. Oh, Brissett hasn't played, but Dalton has played a game this year. But do something.
Yeah.
You can't stand pat.
Inaction is not an action.
No.
And it's not excusable. And
No,
if
not
they're,
at all.
I just don't know how it's
This
going to work
team
out for
can
them.
win a bunch of games with average quarterback play.
I know.
We'll see.
And very few teams, by the way, can say that.
That's right. And who knows? If you get decent quarterback play, maybe you can bring Watson back in December. Maybe you can. And by then he feels all right, and maybe you can make a run in the playoffs.
What's funny
but don't
is
give up on it.
Not that long ago,
Yeah.
Carson Wentz was 11-2.
Yep.
And Nick Foles came in and saved the season and took him to a Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
Aggressive.
Like, these guys have a track record.
Foles makes me nervous because he's only played well in Philly. Everywhere else he's gone, he's been terrible.
I know.
I don't know what it is.
It's a stretch.
Yeah.
But I've seen enough from what we have to know that it ain't it.
Anybody.
Yes.